The rain was relentless, mirroring the storm brewing inside me. Alistair, a 46-year-old architect in Bristol, England, had always prided myself on my ability to design structures that were not only aesthetically pleasing but also structurally sound. Little did I know, the foundation of my own life was about to crumble. My wife, Bronwyn, a vibrant and seemingly devoted woman, had started acting strangely a few months prior. The laughter that once filled our Edwardian semi-detached home had become sparse, replaced by an unnerving silence. Late nights at the office, a sudden interest in fitness classes she'd never mentioned before, and a guardedness around her phone, the classic signs I now realize, but at the time I brushed them off as stress. We'd been married for 18 years, a lifetime or so I thought. We had built a life together, a comfortable existence filled with Sunday roasts, annual holidays to the Cornish coast, and the quiet contentment of shared history. How could this be happening to us? To me, the seed of doubt was planted subtly. A misplaced scarf that wasn't hers, a whiff of unfamiliar cologne clinging to her clothes, a text message that flashed on her phone screen before she quickly deleted it. Each incident, insignificant on its own, began to coalesce into a disturbing pattern. I started losing sleep, my mind racing with possibilities, each more horrifying than the last. I tried to talk to her to bridge the growing chasm between us, but she dismissed my concerns with a wave of her hand and a saccharine smile that didn't reach her eyes. "You're being paranoid, Alistair," she'd say, her voice laced with a hint of irritation. Everything is fine, but everything wasn't fine. My gut screamed it at me. I confided in my closest friend, Gareth, a pragmatic and level-headed accountant. He listened patiently, his brow furrowed with concern. "Alistair, mate, you need to find out the truth," he advised. "For your own sanity." His words gave me the push I needed, the courage to confront my fears. I started subtly investigating. I checked our bank statements, scrutinizing every transaction. I installed a GPS tracker on her car, a decision that felt both invasive and necessary. I know it sounds like something out of a bad movie, but I was desperate. The results were unsettling. Her car regularly visited a part of town she had no reason to be in, a trendy neighborhood known for its expensive restaurants and boutique hotels. My stomach churned with a sickening mix of dread and anticipation. The final piece of the puzzle fell into place on a rainy Tuesday afternoon. I had taken a day off work, feigning illness, to follow Bronwyn. She had told me she was attending a conference in London, but the GPS tracker showed her heading in the opposite direction. I trailed her car, my heart pounding in my chest, until she parked outside a small, discreet hotel. I watched, my hands trembling as she got out of the car and walked towards the entrance. A man emerged from the hotel and my world shattered. It was Eamon, our neighbor, a smug, self-satisfied estate agent who had always exuded an air of superiority. They embraced, a passionate kiss that confirmed my worst fears. The ground seemed to shift beneath my feet. The betrayal hit me like a physical blow, stealing my breath and leaving me reeling. I wanted to scream, to confront them both, but I was paralyzed by shock and disbelief. Instead, I retreated, driving home in a daze, the image of their embrace seared into my mind. That night, I barely slept. I replayed the events of the day over and over in my head, trying to make sense of it all. How could Bronwyn do this to me, to us? What had I done to deserve this? The questions swirled around me, offering no answers, only pain and confusion. I knew I couldn't stay silent. I had to confront her. The next morning, I waited for Bronwyn to return from her conference. When she walked through the door, her face flushed and her eyes bright, I knew she was lying. "How was London?" I asked, my voice betraying none of the turmoil I felt inside. "It was fine," she replied, her tone casual. "A bit boring, actually, really," I said, my voice hardening. "Because I heard you had a much more exciting time closer to home." Her face blanched. "What are you talking about?" she stammered. "I know about you and Eamon," I said, my voice low and steady. "I saw you at the hotel." Denial flickered across her face, followed by a wave of guilt. "Alistair," she began, but I cut her off. "Don't," I said, my voice trembling with anger. "Just don't. I don't want to hear your excuses. I don't want to hear your lies." The truth spilled out of her in a torrent of tears and justifications. She claimed she was unhappy, that I was distant, that she needed excitement. She blamed me for her infidelity, twisting the knife even further. I listened in stunned silence, my heart breaking with each word. "I can't believe you," I said, my voice barely a whisper. "I gave you everything. I loved you with all my heart." "I know," she sobbed, "and I'm so sorry," but her apology was meaningless. The trust was broken, the damage irreparable. I couldn't forgive her. I wouldn't forgive her. "Get out," I said, my voice cold and resolute. "Just get out." She begged me to reconsider, to give her another chance, but my decision was final. I watched as she packed her bags, her tears a pathetic attempt to manipulate me. As she walked out the door, I felt a strange mix of relief and despair. The pain was excruciating, but I knew I had done the right thing. I couldn't live a lie. I deserved better. The divorce was messy and acrimonious. Bronwyn fought me every step of the way, demanding half of everything we owned. Eamon predictably disappeared from the scene, leaving Bronwyn to face the consequences of her actions alone. I confided in Gareth, who was a rock during this difficult time. In the end, I didn't care about the money or the possessions. I just wanted to be free of her, to escape the toxic web of lies and deceit she had spun. I gave her what she wanted, just to be rid of her. I had friends across the pond, and I decided to relocate to the U.S. A fresh start. A new me. I moved into a small apartment in Chicago. The city was a stark contrast to the quiet countryside of Bristol, but I found solace in its anonymity. I threw myself into my work, designing skyscrapers and bridges, channeling my pain into creativity. I started cycling, exploring the city's vibrant neighborhoods and rediscovering my love for the outdoors. Slowly, gradually, I began to heal. One evening, a few months after the divorce was finalized, I received a phone call. It was Bronwyn. Her voice was shaky and desperate. "Alistair, I need your help," she said. "Why would I help you?" I asked, my voice cold. "Eamon left me," she sobbed. "He took all my money and ran off with another woman. I'm broke, Alistair. I have nowhere to go." A wave of satisfaction washed over me. Karma, it seemed, had finally caught up with her. "I'm sorry to hear that," I said, my voice devoid of emotion. "But I can't help you, Bronwyn. You made your choices. Now you have to live with them." I hung up the phone, a sense of closure washing over me. I had finally moved on. I had survived the betrayal, the heartbreak, the pain. I was stronger now, more resilient. I had learned a valuable lesson about trust, about love, and about the importance of knowing your worth. Years passed. I built a successful life for myself in Chicago, both professionally and personally. The memory of Bronwyn faded, replaced by new experiences, new friendships, and a newfound appreciation for life. One day, I received an email from a solicitor in Bristol. Bronwyn had passed away. She had been living in poverty, estranged from her family, and consumed by regret. The email requested my presence at her funeral, as she had left a letter for me. I hesitated. Part of me wanted to ignore the request, to leave the past behind. But curiosity got the better of me. I booked a flight to Bristol, determined to face the ghosts of my past. The funeral was a small, somber affair. Only a handful of people attended, mostly distant relatives I didn't recognize. As I stood by her graveside, I felt a pang of sadness, not for her, but for the life we could have had. After the service, the solicitor handed me a letter. I opened it, my hands trembling. The letter was filled with remorse and regret. Bronwyn admitted that she had made a terrible mistake, that she had thrown away the best thing that had ever happened to her. She confessed that she had never stopped loving me, that she had been consumed by guilt and shame. She begged for my forgiveness. I read the letter, my heart heavy with emotion. I couldn't forgive her, not completely, but I could understand her. I could acknowledge her pain, and I could finally let go of the anger and resentment that had consumed me for so long. I walked away from her graveside, a sense of peace settling over me. I had finally found closure. I had survived the storm, and I had emerged stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever before. Life has a funny way of throwing curveballs. Betrayal is a wound that scars deeply, but it doesn't have to define you. It can be a catalyst for growth, a reminder of your own strength and resilience. I hope that by sharing my story, I can offer hope to others who have experienced similar pain. Remember, you are not alone. You are stronger than you think, and you deserve to be happy.